Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here on Vancouver Island on the west coast of Canada. I hope everybody is having a great midweek so far. Welcome to all of our viewers. Hi Tatiana. Welcome I Am Anywhere. Hello Ken Russell and Rajneesh. Welcome to our members. In this class, everyone, we are focusing on IELTS speaking part 1. The first part of the IELTS speaking section and speaking interview. And this part is a couple of questions about you, to get to know you, to identify you, and then some questions on a general topic. Now, that general topic can be a million different ideas, categories. Today's general topic, will be talking about your teachers. Hence that cute little clip art on our thumbnail. This lesson, everybody, is brought to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS. Check us out there. For the general IELTS, visit us at gieltshelp.com. On both of those websites, we've got lots of materials to help you prepare for your IELTS exam and make sure that you get a great score so that you don't have to sit the IELTS again and again. It is not a good idea to just prepare on your own with free materials randomly found on the internet. I don't recommend it. This is our academic IELTS website here. You can click this big red button to join our premium IELTS package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access, and you can use this code ULTIMATE9 from one of our recent releases to get a 25% discount and get access to all of our interactive lessons, our lesson videos, our exams, and lots of native English help with answers to all of your questions. For general IELTS, it's this green background. Click this big red button there to join our premium IELTS package. Again, it's a one-time payment. We are an official IELTS test registration center and certified agents, so you're in great hands with us. We help hundreds of students every day improve and pass their IELTS exam. So again, remember this code ULTIMATE9 for that 25% discount off of that premium IELTS package. Welcome Arda. Hi Rashika. Good to see many more students in the class. Welcome of Zalshak from Uzbekistan. And I see Carolina, our chat moderator, just joined in as well. That's fantastic. We have apps for your mobile phone, Academic IELTS Help for the academic, General IELTS Help for general. The apps link to the websites so that you can learn from your web account and you can learn from the app from the same materials. You can check us out on Instagram, IELTS_AHelp, GIELTS Help for vocabulary, tips, tricks, and lots more information. And if you have questions, all you need to do is send me an email. My email is adrian@aehelp.com. Just send me an email. You'll get an answer within 48 hours, usually less than 24 hours. We're usually on the ball. All right, students, again, just a reminder, we've had this now for the past week or 2 weeks where we do not have classes on Wednesdays. So instead, we now have classes on Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, they're longer classes. They're 90-minute classes. And as you've probably realized, we're releasing more videos. So we have more time to work on HD videos for the channel. So we're releasing more of those. This is our streaming schedule for today and the next 2 days from 21st to the 23rd. Right now, we'll have speaking part 1. That is for everyone. Tomorrow, a little bit earlier, we'll have writing task 2 that will be for members. It'll be a fun new task 2 topic. Writing task 2 is kind of the same for general and academic, so no need to worry about that. Then we'll have a reading session tomorrow for our subscribers. And then on Saturday, we'll have speaking part 2 combined with a bit of Q&A for members, and then speaking part 3 for everyone. So that's kind of what's going on. That's what you can look forward to. Lots of learning to be had. We focus on helping you improve your English along with your communication. So keep in mind, students, that to get high bands on IELTS, and we're talking like band 7 to 9, okay? It's not enough to just speak in English, unfortunately, okay? So to get high bands on IELTS band 7 to 9, which basically means a good to an expert user of English, you must prove both good English skills, and by that I mean like vocabulary and grammar, and you have to prove good communication skills, which means accurate and detailed answers to questions, okay? That's what you have to do. So you can basically think about this as improving your band score in 2 ways. One, improve your English, so improve your grammar, improve your vocabulary, use more phrasal verbs, use more paraphrasing, more synonyms. And then on the other side is communication, where you're answering the question directly, specifically, you're giving clear explanations, and you're including some nice, smooth examples with your answers to give strength, give emphasis to what you're saying. When I say smooth examples, what do I mean, students? And we have a video on our channel about this. Some of you have probably seen it. So you want to include what we call smooth examples, especially in part 1. Because part 1's about you, so it's pretty easy to include some personal examples in part 1. And if there's ever an IELTS examiner or trainer that says, oh, you shouldn't do that, you'll lose marks, it's not true. I've done it. I've trained lots of people to do it. They all get better marks. So it's absolutely a good idea to include smooth examples, especially in part 1, because in part 1 it's about you. Okay. What do I mean though by smooth? So what does it mean to include a smooth example? Okay, and this is actually a very important tip, believe it or not. It can have a pretty big impact on your overall result. Okay, so sometimes students will give an example, like they'll say, for example, I played tennis for an hour yesterday. Okay, is that a smooth example or not? Right? Or they might say something like, for instance, I played tennis for an hour yesterday. Okay. Tatiana says a smooth example is an example explaining what you mentioned is done. Okay. I think I get your vibe, Tatiana. Yeah. Absolutely, the example should be real world. It doesn't have to be the truth, but it should be believable. I didn't personally play an hour of tennis yesterday. I wish I had. I love tennis, but I didn't play for an hour yesterday, but it's believable. It's a personal example. Okay, these two are not smooth examples because they are introduced. Okay, let's make these correct grammatically. So these are not smooth because they are introduced with for example. Okay, now we have a video again on our channel that says don't say for example, and there's a reason for that. IELTS examiners actually get scared when students say for example. They're like, ooh. And the reason for that is they fear the student will just go blah 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 blah. For example, I played tennis yesterday with one of my friends. He's a really cool guy, and we played tennis for like an hour. It was a lot of fun. The match was really good. I threw up a couple of great serves. I hit a couple of nice backhands. And then once when the ball flew out of the court, I had to go chase it down and jump over this fence. And I didn't realize it was actually somebody's yard. They had this big dog. So I had to like try to steal the tennis ball back from this big dog and then get back to the tennis court. But it was really scary. And then the neighbor like called the cops because they thought I was a robber. And then the examiner's just like, whoa, 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 whoa. Next question, please. Okay, so they interrupt you, and that happens. You probably think that's kind of weird and funny, but that actually happens, especially when people are nervous. Okay, and on the IELTS exam, it's common and normal to be nervous. And when people are nervous, what they tend to do is they tend to overspeak, especially when they get going on this kind of a rant about using for example, and then just going and going and going, okay, as I just did there, okay? So the trick is to just give the example, okay? So the trick is to just give the example. Without introducing it. And keep it to one sentence. Like, I played a fun game of tennis yesterday. Okay. So if the IELTS examiner is asking you about what sports you like, and you say, well, I love to play racket sports. In fact, I played a fun game of tennis yesterday. Then you stop, okay? The examiner isn't asking you about your adventures with the vicious dog that lives next to the tennis court, right? And so if you start going off topic, you might think that you're getting scores for being fluent, but you're not. You're actually losing scores for coherence rather than gaining scores for fluency. So just give the example, okay? Practice just giving the example. And we're going to do that today. So I really want to hear some nice examples as we get into today's speaking practice, and speaking practice we shall. I will call our viewers and we'll talk to each other and we'll learn some great ways to answer these questions. So you go to your IELTS speaking test. You get there 1 hour before your exam starts. Why 1 hour? Well, for multiple reasons. You get comfortable with your surroundings. You go to the washroom if you need to. You start to get a bit, relaxed, get a bit of the stress gone. Then you find another candidate who's hanging around going, I'm waiting for my exam. You find that candidate and you say, hey, good morning. Are you here for your IELTS exam? And then you'll say, yes, I am. Are you? Will most likely ask you back, and then you'll say, I am too. I learned this strategy that we should practice some speaking before the speaking test, just to get confident. Would you like to practice with me? And the person hopefully will say, yeah, sure, that's a great idea. Thank you for asking. And then you find a nice quiet place, you sit down, and then you pull out some questions on your phone or on a piece of paper in your pocket, and then you start practicing, okay? Then you have to register for your IELTS speaking. So you do that 20 minutes before the interview. You go in, there will be some examination proctors who are there as assistants. If they speak in a language other than English, stay in English. Say, yes, I'm here for my IELTS. Please speak to me in English. I want to keep thinking and talking in English. And they'll say, oh yeah, sure, sorry, I should be speaking English anyway. That's what I'm instructed to do. And then you register. And then after that, again, go to the washroom and have a mental checklist, okay? So have a checklist of some important tips, okay? Even on a piece of paper. So on a piece of paper, have 5 points to remind you of ways to score a high band, okay? So number one, you should always think answer plus explanation plus example, okay? All right. And then number two, maybe you'll have something like use the question in the answers. Okay, if you had $1 million, what would you buy? If I had $1 million, I'd buy a house. Okay, and then number three, paraphrase. Paraphrase the question. Okay. How often do you go for a walk? I frequently take a stroll, especially in the evenings when I have some time. So paraphrase the question. Take a walk, take a stroll. Okay. Students, this is a speaking class, so make sure that you're not just listening, but you're speaking and repeating. Okay. So when I say words like go for a walk and take a stroll, just repeat, even if you know them. Strengthen these synonyms, strengthen this paraphrasing in your mind. Okay. Hi, Eugene. Look at those emojis lighting up the chat. I'm doing fantastic, getting better by the day. Still got a cough, but I'm holding my own, so I'm doing all right. Thank you for asking. Okay, and then you might have a couple more points, you might have some specific points, like answer all questions on the cue card in 90 seconds and make connections among answers. Okay, so you might have a list like this on your piece of paper, and you look at it and you read it once or twice. And then you're like, okay, these are the points. I'm going to pay attention to these. I practiced these. I know I need to do these. Now I'm going to focus on these, and I'm not going to worry too much about the examiner. So you then are now ready for your IELTS speaking interview. You go in to the exam room and you are met by a person that's kind of like me. Okay, they will likely be a native speaker of the English language, or they might just be an expert user of the English language and not a native speaker, which can happen, and that's totally fine. Okay, they're all trained. They know what to do. Questions are there. They read the questions. They're marking you while you're speaking. Okay, think about the examiner as your grandfather, your grandmother. Just picture this happy elderly person who loves you, and they will accept you no matter what kind of mistakes you make, and the sun will shine tomorrow. Take a deep breath and get ready to communicate clearly and accurately. All right, students, so you go in and the examiner will begin just like this. Please have a seat. You can say, thank you. And then they will say, and now we will start the speaking section of the IELTS exam. It has 3 parts. I will give you instructions for each. I'm recording this for clerical purposes. We are currently conducting this exam in Berlin. The time is 14 o'clock. This is candidate number 973184557, and this is examiner number 97381. For part 1, I will ask you a couple of questions to get to know you better and some questions on a general topic. May I see your identification? It's always it's 95% of the time it will be their first question. Sometimes they'll actually lead with asking you for your name, but most of the time they will ask you for your ID. You have to show them the same identification that you used to check in for the exam. So, may I see your identification? Okay. Right away. This answer should be in your pocket. You should be able to answer it quickly, clearly, naturally, without any mistakes. Okay, so you might give an answer something like, absolutely. Here is my passport that I used at check-in 20 minutes ago. And here is the page with my credentials. Please take a look. Is it too much? No, it's professional, it's clear, it's accurate, it's detailed, it's showing lexical resource, it's showing some numbers like 20 minutes, it's showing clear communication, it shows that you know what you're doing, it shows confidence. All of those, all right? Repeat after me. So, may I see your identification? Repeat questions as well as answers, right? So, may I see your identification? Absolutely. Here's my passport that I used to check in 20 minutes ago. And here's the page with my credentials. Please take a look. Now, here's a nice little tip or trick right away, everybody. Be 10% melodramatic. By being 10% dramatic, you're going to sound clearer and you're going to be more confident. You should practice this. If you've ever taken acting class, so to practice for theater, the stage, for making a movie, I know a lot of people love to do selfies on Instagram and on TikTok and such. You'll notice that all of the really popular ones, people are like dramatic. Like they're like, whoa, whoa. So they're dramatic. People like dramatic people. We like to be entertained. We like to feel the confidence of the speaker. And that comes from melodrama. It's a fundamental skill taught in acting school. So in the IELTS speaking interview, you are in fact, in some sense, acting. You're acting your best English, okay? So be a little bit melodramatic, right? So absolutely, here's my passport that I used at check-in 20 minutes ago, and here's the page with my credentials. Please have a look, okay? So don't go crazy overboard. Don't be like, well, absolutely. Okay, they'll think you're crazy, you've lost your mind. They still might give you a good band score, but it might be awkward. But 10%, okay? All right. Rajneesh says, gladly, here's my passport, which I used a month before for registration of this IELTS exam. Please have a look. All right, Rajneesh, that works. Rashika says, yes, here's my passport. I'm looking at our chat here, everybody. So I can't make it bigger, unfortunately. YouTube doesn't allow me for it, but I'm just reading out some of the answers that people have given here, which is great. Rashika says, yes, here's my passport that I used to register for this exam a couple of weeks ago. Please have a look. Shabnam is asking, what do you mean by make connections among answers? Shabnam, I will show you that shortly. Okay. Kamal says, yes, gladly, here's my passport that I used to register for this exam. Please have a look. Yeah, that works. Okay, some good answers there. Okay, and then the next question that you are asked always is, what is your full name? Okay, they usually ask you that while you still have your passport out. So they're asking you for your full name. And then you can say something like, my whole name is Francesca Irene Dominguez. I'm totally just making this up. Okay, so my whole name is Francesca Irene Dominguez. I like to go by my middle name, so please call me Irene. All right, hello Irene. A song about that. Okay, so yeah, just clear community. I mean, you have to be able to introduce yourself professionally and clearly and accurately for a high band score. Sometimes students, I've heard this from candidates, from IELTS students, they say like, oh, I heard they're not marking me for the first couple questions, like the passport question of my name. Yeah, they are. If you can't introduce yourself without making mistakes, give your name without making a mistake, you're not looking at a band 8 or a band 9, that's for sure. It's just hard to convince an IELTS examiner that you're a very good to expert user of any language if you're not able to clearly introduce yourself and ask a listener or a speaking partner what you want to be called, right? Okay, so again, repeat after me. What is your full name? My whole name is Francesca Irene Dominguez. I like to go by my middle name, so please call me Irene. All right, Irene. Now I'll ask you a couple of questions to get to know you better and some questions on a general topic. Okay, Rajneesh says, my full name is Rajneesh Bishnoi. You can call me by my first name, Rajneesh. Yeah, it's more polite, Rajneesh, to say, please call me. Please call me. Ken says, my full name is Ken Russell Balang. You can call me either by my first name, Ken, or Russell. All right, Russell. I like the name Russell. I'll call you Russell. Amrit says, my whole name is Amrit Paul Singh. Please just call me Amrit for short. All right, Amrit, very nice. Okay. Mandeep says, my first name is Mandeep and my last name is Telukuntal. I like people calling me Manny for short. Yeah, not B, but me. I like people calling me Manny for short. Please do the same. All right. Viral Videos says, my full name is Sami Ullah. Please just call me by my first name only, Sami. Yeah. Jane Wanjiku says, certainly, and this is my ID that I used to register for the exam last week. That's for the previous question. Very nice. Okay, students, good. You've got some good answers there. Watch every little detail to make sure that they are correct and accurate. Okay, and then the examiner might ask you about your hobbies. They might ask you about your work or your study, or they might do something like this. All right, for part one, I'll ask you a couple of questions to get to know you better. Who do you live with? Okay. So you have to give a full sentence answer. I live with my partner, Andy, and my 2 cats, Fuzzball and Orange. I don't know. I'm not that great at making up cat names. Thank you, Engin, for the super chat donation. That's awesome. So who do you live with? I live with my partner, Andy, and my 2 cats, Fuzzball and Orange, in a 2-bedroom condo. Just a 10-minute walk from this exam center. Sure. Details. Okay. So I live with my partner Andy and my 2 cats Fuzzball and Orange in a 2-bedroom condo, just a 10-minute walk from this exam center. Clear, accurate, smooth, fluent, comfortable. Don't overthink it. Don't overspeak it. Okay. Arda says, I live with my parents and my brother. Okay, so let's take a look at what some people are saying here. I'm looking at the chat here. If you're able to zoom in on it, you might be able to read these with me. So who do you live with? Arda says, I live with my parents and my brother. I've been living with them since birth, but I guess I will have to move to another place for university soon. And most probably I'll be living on my own within the next year. All right, Arda, good. Make sure you say that fluently and then stop. Don't say any more. Otherwise, they might interrupt you, especially for these first couple of questions. You don't want to overdo it, okay? I've been living with them since my birth, even though it's present perfect, Arda. It's a bit awkward. Intuitively, I would assume that you've been living with your parents and brother since birth. The only time it might be worth mentioning that kind of idea is if you actually haven't been, okay? However, I've also lived with my grandparents for the past year to learn another language or something, okay? All right. Jiang, nice paraphrasing. Jiang says, I reside with my family members in a 2-story private house in the middle of town. Nice. Okay. Maybe mention those family members. Okay. So with my family members, who are they? Brothers, cousins, sisters, uncles, aunts. Simran says, I live with my parents and my older brother in a 3-bedroom apartment. Good. Nice detail. Yashin says, right now, I live by myself, but I used to live with my parents 2 years ago. Yashin, I would probably give a quick explanation of why you live by yourself. So Yashin, you might say something like, right now I live by myself because I am studying in university and I'm a bachelor or a bachelorette. Okay, so if you are male and you live by yourself, you are a bachelor. Okay, so bachelor, man living alone usually. Okay, and bachelorette, a woman living alone. Okay, all right. Note vocabulary. When I give you vocabulary, that's vocabulary that will get you lexical resource marks. So mark it down and practice it. Use it. Okay. And then the next question. Where do you go to relax? Okay. Don't overthink it. Okay. So I like to go to my bedroom when I need some me time to be with my own thoughts and to take a bit of a break from the stresses of life. I feel comfortable and at peace in my room. All right, and then you could put in a smooth example. I was doing that, or I was doing this just before coming to this exam. Okay, nice and smooth. So one more time. Where do you go to relax? I like to go to my bedroom when I need some me time to be with my own thoughts and to take a bit of a break from the stresses of life. I feel comfortable and at peace in my room. I was doing this just before coming to this exam. All right, me time. Time for myself. Okay. So keep it simple. It could be the park near your home. It could be a library. It could be the beach. So there are lots of places where we can go and just chill out and relax. You might go to your favorite cafe, right? The trick is not to overthink it. So if you think of one cafe, go with it. Okay, explain it. There's a really nice quiet cafe half a block from my house. It's usually empty, especially in the mornings, and I like to go there and drink a warm cup of tea to just unwind for a little bit before starting my hectic workday. All visual. I'm just making it all up. Okay. All right. Let's see. So here we go. Tatiana says, to get some rest from my daily routine at work, I go for a stroll to the nearby park, which is about 10 minutes from my place. Okay, LD says, I usually go to the rooftop to unwind at around 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I have a good view of the sunset, as long as the weather is good and not dreary. Okay, LD, careful not to overspeak because you have some mistakes near the end there. So keep it simple. Be concise too, students. So say it in a short way, okay? Say an answer, give an explanation, give an example, but say it short, say it concise. Concise communication is good communication. Mandeep says, to ease myself, I usually go for a walk with my friends every day in the evening after work. Last night, I spent a good time with my close mates having a chit chat while strolling near my home. Okay. Jiang says, I prefer to go to the top of my home so I can have a bird's eye view of the whole city while snacking on some chips and biscuits. Okay. Bird's eye view. It's not bird eye view, bird eyes view. It's bird's eye view. It's like possessive, right? The eye view of the bird. Bird's eye view. And we usually write that like this, Jiang. Okay, bird's eye view means a topographic view. So a view from top down. Okay. And it's written as this, Jiang. So nice vocabulary there. We'll teach it to everybody. Okay, it's a bird's, and very technically it'd be a bird's eye view. Okay, so like that. It is a topographic view. There's a nice word for you, topographic, from the top down. Topographic view, looking down, like a map view, if you will. And you get that from the top of a house. Okay, everyone, that's good. And vocabulary is important. So when the examiner introduces the topic, they'll say, okay, let's talk about teachers. Okay, so as soon as you hear that word teachers, as soon as you hear this kind of a topic word, ideally, you quickly reference your mind. So you look inside your head and you think of synonyms for this word because you know that you're going to be talking about teachers. So you immediately think about other ways to say the word teacher. So you might think of the word trainer, professor. Okay, what other words are synonymous with teacher? Even if it's not the exact same, maybe something that's similar. So what else would be similar to teacher? Okay, give me some other words here. All right. Yeah, very good. So Amu says maybe tutor, mentor. Yeah, there's lots of ways. Tutor, mentor. Nice. Coaches, very good, Jiang. Coach. Coach is a type of teacher. Yeah. Instructor, very good. Educator, nice. Master, all right, less common, but sure. Okay. Thanks for the super chat donation, Amrit. I appreciate that. I'm getting better. I'm still not 100%, but definitely much better than I was last week, okay? All right, so we've got some good synonyms there, and you should also be thinking of other words. So you should be thinking of words like schools, peers, pupils, students, and the like, okay? All right. So then the examiner will say, okay, let's talk about teachers. Who was your favorite teacher? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. So who was your favorite teacher? Okay. All right. So there's my answer. Okay. So who was your favorite teacher? That's tough to say because I've had many great teachers over the years. Okay. I usually tell students not to really have this kind of unnecessary leading expression, but in this case, it's not unnecessary. It's truthful. Okay. So you should only use this kind of leading idea like that's tough to say because I've had many great teachers over the years. You should only say that if it's true. You shouldn't just say it if it's not true because the examiner will feel that you're just trying to fill space. But if it's true and natural, then by all means. That's tough to say because I've had many great teachers over the years, but perhaps Ms. Jenkins, my grade 11 drama teacher, was my all-time favorite because she made learning so much fun and she was very empathetic. Notice that I'm reflecting the question, okay? It's very important. Your favorite teacher, my all-time favorite, right? You have to reflect in your answers, the question. Very important, okay? The teacher I adored the most, the teacher who I loved the most, okay? So you have to, in one way or another, reflect the question in your answer. It's super, super important. Okay. All right. We've got some answers here by some of our viewers. Let's take a look. I Am Anywhere says, my favorite teacher is CS, sir, because his English is awesome and he is very helpful for me and my classmates, and I'm very familiar with him, and he always tries to make us understand the chapters in English. And when we are so tired, he understands us and gives us time to do work. He is the best. Okay, I am anywhere. It's not a bad answer. Be more concise, okay? So my favorite teacher is CS because he is an excellent English instructor who understands his class, gives breaks as necessary, and everybody can easily understand him. Okay, so a little bit more concise, all right? String together your ideas, all right? Gordon Jung says, my favorite teacher is my father, who has educated me a lot, ranging from being a responsible and honest person to doing everyday household chores. In fact, he taught me how to trim the hedges just last week. Okay, all right, yeah, that's a good answer. Give an example. All right, okay. Simran says, I vividly remember when I was in college, Miss Ginny used to be my favorite teacher. She taught us physics, and I like her way of teaching. It's easy to understand with lots of practical examples. Good, Simran. A couple of small corrections there. Be careful. Don't generalize your answers. If I'm asking you about who is your favorite teacher, don't talk about us and your classmates. Talk about yourself. It's your favorite teacher. All right, Lucille Chen says, Mrs. Lee, a math teacher, is my all-time favorite. When I was bullied in primary school, she was the only one who stood up for me. Aside from that, she was always considerate and empathetic. I don't know if it's aside from that, because being empathetic and considerate is a part of that. So she was very considerate and empathetic. She stood up for me. Okay, when somebody protects you from your surroundings, they stand up for you. Okay, keep that in mind. So learn this expression. Okay, so to stand up for someone. Okay, to defend a person. All right, so to stand up for someone, to defend a person, remember that. All right, use it. Okay, everyone, so I think you get the idea, and I think we can benefit even more now by practicing together. So again, remember this code, Ultimate9, on our website for that 25% discount off of our already very competitively priced courses. They're not expensive. It won't cost you nearly as much as the IELTS, and they'll definitely help you avoid taking the test time and again. But for now, let's focus on volunteers for speaking. And this is where I need like an echo sound effect. Volunteers for speaking, volunteers. Okay, echo, echo. All right, so this is how we do it. Okay, so go to aehelp.com. I'll show you where that is. That's right here. Okay, aehelp.com. This is their academic IELTS website. You can go to gieltshelp.com. It's the green one. Okay, either one is okay. Then click on one of these two buttons to create your account. Green one, free account. Red one, premium account, paid but well worth it. And then when you create your account, click on My Student Account. When you create the account, it'll actually log you in automatically, I believe. End the tour. Take the tour when you have time. Don't take the tour right now. Focus on the class. And then you've got all these awesome materials. So you got your computer-based practice exams, and you've got your full interactive course. It's mobile friendly, so you can use it on your phone, especially if you get the app. Then it's no problem there. You've got your study plans. You've got test books. You've got lesson videos, lots of them, standard format, HD format, depending on what kind of a connection you have. And then you've got more and more, but what we're looking for here is this, let me show you exactly, is this student partner speaking. That's just above my head there, that student partner speaking. You click on that student partner speaking, and then you say, okay, I'm gonna speak with Adrian, and I accept and start speaking. And then you get into this little piece here, which is our online chat system. Let me put on my ears. And then you will see me as master, and you'll see these three buttons, the blue and the two green. Use the blue button to send me a message. Say, I want to volunteer, and then I can connect with you, and other students will be able to hear you, and then I'll be able to say, hey, let's speak, let's talk a little bit. Let's do that. So I can see Yas here at the top is pinging me. Let's see if Yes is ready. Yes, of course. Yes, are you ready? So let's see if Yes is ready to volunteer here, and then we will begin. Yes, you are. Okay, Yes.
Hello?
Hi, Yes.
Hello, yeah.
How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing much better than last week. I'm not 100% yet. I'm getting over a bad case of the flu or COVID or something, but much better now. Yes.
Great.
Where are you right now?
I'm from Morocco.
From Morocco. Right on.
Yeah.
I'd love to visit there someday.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
Morocco looks beautiful. Okay, and Yes, why are you taking the IELTS exam?
It's a university requirement. That's the only reason why I'm taking it.
Okay, well, good news. Other than a university requirement, as long as you do a good job on the IELTS, it is a very nice addition to have to your CV or your resume. And if you get like a band 7, 8, or 9 on the IELTS exam, and IELTS exams are usually valid for 2 years, but even if you did the IELTS 5 years ago and you got a band 8, it's great to put on your resume and say, hey, I'm considered a very good to expert user of the English language. So so there's some other benefits to look forward to. Yes.
Absolutely. Yes, yeah.
All right, may I ask,
sure.
what are you studying in university?
I graduated last year, but I was studying English linguistics.
Oh, okay, so right up your alley then. Right on. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, a lot of English teaching jobs around the world will require a band 8.5 on the IELTS exam as
Oh,
well.
I see.
So it's a good benchmark to have. All right. Yes. So I
All right.
will conduct a bit of the interview with you, just like the official IELTS exam, and I'll take some notes and then give you some feedback. How does that sound?
Sounds good. Sure. Yeah.
Okay, then let's do this. So welcome
All
to
right.
the speaking section of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner for this part of the test. May I see your identification?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Here's my ID that I used to register. Please take a look.
And what is your full name?
My first name is Yasin and my last name is Marjan. But please just call me by my first name, Yasin.
Okay, Yasin. I will ask you a couple of questions to get to know you better and some questions on a general topic. Let's talk about teachers. Who was your favorite teacher?
I would say that my English teacher was my most favorite. He was a high school teacher and he was really optimistic and would always encourage us to raise our hands.
Where do you learn from a teacher?
I would say that you learn from a teacher at formal institutions like university, school, language centers. These are some of the places that you can learn from a teacher.
Okay, I'll stop there. All right. Okay, your English is fantastic, Yassine.
Oh.
So let me give you some feedback. Okay, I would, I'm a maybe I'm a picky person, but I would grade you an 8.5. Although I think some examiners might give you as high of a score as 9, and some 8. And it's really tricky when you're in these higher band scores. Okay, so when you get into the band 8 and band 9 categories, it becomes very subjective to the examiner. Okay, so it depends a lot on the examiner's understanding of what those band scores actually mean. And although examiners are trained really well, there's always going to be some subjective difference, especially at that band 8, band 9 level.
Right.
So your fluency, your pronunciation, your grammatical range accuracy, these are all band 9, to be honest with you.
I'm pleased to hear that.
Yeah, where I'm taking a mark is for your coherence. So it's purely for your communication. And my training is in psychology, and I work a lot in communication training as well. So there's just some elements that I really pick at when I'm being hypercritical. So let me tell you what that is, okay? So that I'm not just speaking into the cloud here.
Sure, yeah.
So I asked you who was your favorite teacher, and you said, I would say that my English teacher was my most favorite. He was a high school teacher, and he was most optimistic, and he would always encourage us to raise our hands. Okay, so you used some nice language there. Can you guess what my problem is with this answer?
Did not give an example. I'm not really sure.
I don't really know who he is. So if I were to try to find this teacher, I'd have a virtually impossible task. I don't know his name. I don't know the school that he taught at. So I'm missing details for clarity here. I want to be empathetic with you as the communicator. And to be empathetic with you, I need to be drawn into your story, right? So just simply adding a name already will make it much better. So give your English teacher a name. What's your English teacher's name?
Mr. Rachel.
Mr. Rachel?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so if I say, I would say that my English teacher, Mr. Rachel, was my most favorite. He was a high school teacher in grade 11. Okay, so let's give it a number. Just then I can put it more into context. High school is at least 2 grades, sometimes 3, depending on your school. Then we can give it a bit more detail. Okay, so I would say that my English teacher, Mr. Rachel, was my most favorite. He was a high school teacher in grade 11, and he was most optimistic, and he would always encourage us to raise our hands, which made classes very interactive.
All right.
So just that slight bit of extra detail, now I can be like, okay, that's expert communication. But it wasn't just that one response where I was basing my marks. I wouldn't be that much of a jerk where I would just be like, oh, okay, that's a bad day. No name. Who is this guy? I don't know who this guy is. So it wasn't just that. There was another mistake here. So I asked you, where do you learn from a teacher? Okay. And here you said, I would say that you learn from a teacher at formal institutions. And so what you did here is you switched to the second person voice, and you study linguistics. So you'll know this very well, right? The author has 3 voices. There's subcategories, but generally we say that there are 3 voices. You have the first person, the second person, and the third person voice, right?
Right.
And probably at some point, one of your teachers, hopefully, has told you that you shouldn't jump voices when you're communicating. So if you start with a first person voice, you should carry with the first person voice throughout that part of the conversation or essay as well. So if I start talking about I, me, my, myself, my life, my teachers, my instructors, my coaches, then it should be about my experiences. As soon as I bring in the second person voice, like your teachers, your coaches, you, it starts to become awkward and more confusing for the listener, right?
Yeah, I see, yeah.
Yeah, so in part 1, it's usually the first person voice, because part 1 is about you, your teachers, your experiences, your hobbies. So you want to keep it as a first person voice. So I would say that I learn from a teacher mostly at formal institutions, like in my university, as I was explaining with my grade 11 English teacher, Mr. Rachel, right? So I can make that connection, right?
All right, I'll keep that in mind.
Okay,
sure.
So I would say that I learn from teachers at formal institutions like public school and university, as I had from Mr. Rachel, which inspired me to pursue a major in English linguistics at the University of Istanbul. Okay, sorry, you're in Morocco, but I'm just throwing it out there. Okay.
No worries.
All right. So that's what you want to do. So that's where I'm being really picky. Okay. So clearly you have very good English. You sound like a native speaker to me, but for
thank you.
but for a band 9, it's not enough to sound native. You have to show that you are an expert user of English, which means expert communication, and you have to pay attention to these kinds of details. Okay.
All right.
So let me just to kind of emphasize and strengthen this in your learning, let me repeat the question, read the answer, copy after me, okay?
Sure,
So just
good.
the second one. So where do you learn from a teacher? I would say that I learn from teachers at formal institutions, mostly like public schools and universities, as I had from Mr. Rachel, which inspired me to pursue a major in English linguistics at the University of Istanbul. Where do you learn from a teacher?
I would say that I learn from teachers at formal institutions like public schools and university, as I had from Mr. Rachel, which inspired me to pursue a major in English linguistics at the University of Istanbul.
Nice. Okay. Do you feel the difference now between that 8, 9 level?
Oh yes, I see it now. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Awesome. Well, keep up the good studies. I think you're going to do a
Thank you.
fantastic job on your test. Do you have a test date picked out already? Do you know when you're going to do the exam?
Oh yes, after 2 days on Saturday.
Oh, okay. So last minute
Yeah.
tips. Boom,
Yeah.
there you go.
Thank you.
Right on.
I
All
appreciate it.
right.
Yeah.
You're very welcome. Okay, good luck
Thank
on your
you.
test, Yas. We'll see you later.
Thank you. Bye bye. See
Okay,
you.
bye.
Take care.
All right, and yes, I forgot to say, but I hope you come back and share your mark with us. Let us know how you did. Okay, from one high level student to the next, let's see if Arda is available. Arda, are you here? Let's see if Arda is with us. We haven't talked to Arda in a while. Arda is a long time member of our channel and pops in every now and again to practice some English. It's a good way to do it, students. Keep coming back, keep building confidence, keep building fluency. All right, Arda.
Hello.
Hi, Arda. How are you?
I'm good. I'm feeling good. I just passed my exams. I'm great. How are you?
Nice. I'm doing better and better. Thanks for asking. When you mean you passed your exams, are you talking about high school standard
School exam.
exams or school
Yeah.
exams? Can you be more specific? Can you explain what you mean by that?
I mean, there's some exam weeks that I have to take my exams on. Like in terms, I have to take like two exams each term, and I just passed one of them, and I will take the other one in a month.
What exam is it specifically? Like, is it math, physics?
So like, I take like 10 exams for each subject, like math, biology, physics, chemistry, like all subjects basically in high school.
And are these government level exams? So they're nationally standardized?
Yeah.
Okay,
They
so
are.
very, very competitive, right?
Yeah, it is.
And if you do a really good job on these exams, like if you're in the top 10 percentile, what does that enable you to do? So what kind of doors does that open for you?
Well, it's important for university, I could say, for like university entrances, and also like to study abroad. They're really important, like the exam results.
Are you able to get scholarships if you do a good job on these?
Well, most probably, yeah.
Okay.
Like academic performance is really important for like studying abroad, right? So I would say yes.
Okay. Yeah, the world is definitely moving towards a more standardized education system internationally. So these standard exams are becoming very important. Okay, Arda. Well, speaking of IELTS, International Standard English Testing
Yep.
System, right? So, all right, Arda. Then let me ask you a couple of questions. So let me get right into it this time. So let's talk about teachers. Where do you learn from a teacher?
I learned from my teachers at my high school. It's called Cardinal Tolkien High School. I and my classmates have 12 teachers for each subject. We're usually learning in the classroom, but if the weather is good, our teacher wants to go to the garden and teach there. My biology teacher actually did that last week. It was fun.
Okay. Why is it important to be, or sorry, what is important to be a good teacher?
The personalities of a teacher are the most important features for a good one. Most of the time, being funny, trying to make students smile and learn at the same time. And a good teacher shouldn't get angry in most of the situations. They need to control the class and attract students so students become interested in the subject.
Okay. Very nice. All right, very nice. You know what? One more. Let's do one more. Have you ever taught anyone?
Right. Yeah, I have taught biology to my best friend 3 months ago. We were both preparing for the biology exam, but my best friend couldn't get how a brain works, and I've always been good at biology, so I taught him how our brains work. We both passed the exam with flying colors. He thanked me after the exam.
Okay. Very nice, Arda. Very nice. Yeah, I would give you that band 9, honestly, for that, Arda.
Thank you.
You're doing a really good job. So you're definitely, you paid attention to the advice that I gave you. You kept it to yourself. So all 3 questions, you made sure that you kept it personal. You realized, okay, this is part 1. It's questions about me. The examiner even says that. They'll usually say, I'll ask you some general questions about you to get to know you better, right? So they really kind of do emphasize that at the beginning. So you did a good job of keeping it to yourself, being specific, being original. You used some really nice lexical resource like pass the exam with flying colors. That means outstanding results, of course. Okay, that was really good. Your fluency was good. Pronunciation was great. And you really created what was really nice here is that you 2 points, okay? 2 points that were just very clearly a band 9 for me. One is that you created a very visual experience for me as your listener. So, for instance, when I asked you where do you learn from a teacher, you explained that, okay, this is my teachers in high school. There are 12 teachers that you learn from. And when it's a nice day, your teacher will even go to the garden, meaning that you'll learn in the garden. So I actually was visually present, and I was with you as a student in this high school learning from one of the teachers in the garden. And that kind of communication is very powerful. What is important to be a good teacher? You focused on personality. You explained it. You said that, you know, they can have the students smile and learn at the same time. They help students become interested in subjects. That was great. I asked you, have you ever taught anyone? Really nice. You said, I have taught biology. So immediately you used the present perfect and you gave a specific answer. So you said, biology to my best friend. And then you specifically explained that your friend couldn't get how the brain works. If you want to get really fancy, you could say central nervous system, but it's fine. And then you said, he thanked me after the exam, and then you stopped. That was the other point that you did really well for all 3 questions, is you didn't underspeak and you didn't overspeak. Yeah. So it's like the story of Goldilocks and the 3 bears, where Goldilocks goes to the bear's house and dad's soup is too hot, mom's soup is too cold, and baby bear's soup is just right. In the IELTS exam, you have a kind of just right amount of speaking, where you're not overspeaking, you're not underspeaking, but
average.
You're speaking enough to be clear, and you did just that. Okay. So that was really good, Arda. You're doing very, very well. Do you have any oral exams for your government exams, where you have to do like a English exam like this orally?
No, not from the government. But if I want to take like an IELTS exam, I have to pay and just go to an exam center. But not from the government, yeah.
Do you have an English standard exam from the government?
Well, I don't think so. Well, I might be mistaken, but let me just say no.
Okay, all right, fair enough. A lot of places do, that's why I'm asking. Okay, Arda, good job. Keep it up. Thank you so much for volunteering and showing that nice high band score to everybody, how to get and what you need to do. Yeah. Keep up the good work, Arda, and good luck on the other exams that you've got coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, bye, Arda. All right, and everybody, I saw that many of you gave some thumbs up to Yas and now to Arda as well. That's really great, okay? Support each other. It's really, really important, okay? And don't be shy. If your English isn't quite as good as Arda or as Yas, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just keep talking. I'm sure they weren't that good their whole lives either. They had to learn. So, Abdul Rashid would like to volunteer. Abdul Rashid, are you ready? Okay, so I'm kind of moving down the list, but you'll see me jump around randomly as well. So if you're lower down on the list, don't worry. Sometimes I really just kind of hop around. It's not like I'm always systematic here with first, second, third person. So Abdul Rashid, give you a few more seconds to respond. Okay, Abdul Rashid is there. Hi, Abdul Rashid.
Hello,
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. What about you?
I'm doing pretty good, thanks. I have more and more energy each day now coming out of this cold, so that's a great feeling. There's an expression in English, we say health is wealth. It's very true. All right, Abdul Rashid, what should I call you? Full name, Abdul Rashid, or do you have a short version?
You can call me just as it.
Abdul Rashid, okay. And where are you right now?
I'm from Uzbekistan.
Okay, which part?
I'm from Kokand, actually.
Kokand. Okay, I'm trying to get familiar with Uzbekistan. We have a lot of callers from Uzbekistan, and of course I'm familiar with Tashkent, but that's about it. So I'd like to get a little bit more familiar with the geography. Okay, Abdul Rashid, why are you doing the IELTS exam?
I want to study in United States. That's why, for my higher education.
Okay, do you know what you want to study?
Yeah, for computer science.
Computer science. All right. Okay, well, let me help you on that journey. I'll ask you a couple of questions, give me some nice full sentence answers, and then I'll give you some feedback with a score estimate. So let's talk about teachers. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Have you ever taught anyone?
Yeah, I've taught math to my sister. It's about 2 months ago. She done very well at her exam, and she thanked a lot to me.
If you could teach any subject, what would it be?
I think it will be, of course, mathematics, because I'm good at math. That's why it's the one I could help to someone who need help.
Okay, let me give you some feedback. So that would be about a band 6.5. Okay, so just a quick rough estimate off the top of my head. A band 6.5. A band 6.5 means that you are between fluent and good user of the English language. You're definitely fluent, so I can tell that you don't have to think too much about your answer. You've got it in your head, you know what you want to say, and you say it, and I can understand it. So
Okay.
I know what you're saying, I can understand it. I don't have to really stress myself or say excuse me or
Okay.
come again or what did you just say. So I don't have to do any of that, and I feel like I can get into a nice fluent conversation with you, and that's fine. Okay.
Okay.
But I do, as your listener, immediately pick out some mistakes. I'm like, that grammar's a little bit off. That's a little bit of an unnatural way to say that. That's
I
a little
know.
bit of an awkward way to say that. So it's those little bit of awkward, unnatural grammatical mistakes, word choice mistakes that keep your score at the 6.5 level. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So go ahead. Yeah, ask me if you have a question.
I'm training with my speaking, and I'd like to improve it.
Yeah, and I'll tell you how. I'll give you a couple of tips. Okay, so here I asked you, have you ever taught anyone? And you said, yeah, I've taught math to my sister. So you contracted the I have, okay, and I picked it up. So I did get it. I got that you said I've with the contracted I have. On the IELTS, don't contract, not the first time that you use the grammar anyway. So instead of saying I've, actually say I have, like emphasize it. So yeah, I have taught math to my sister. And then you can even repeat it, paraphrase it to emphasize it. I've tutored her several times over the past few years. Okay.
Yeah.
Last time was about 2 months ago. So just adding some more clarity there, okay? And really emphasizing that present perfect. So yeah, I have taught math to my sister. I've tutored her. And notice how the second time that I'm using the present perfect, that's when I'm contracting it. That's when I'm taking the I have, and then it's called a contraction, and that's when I'm contracting. Contracting means to pull together, right? Contractions are natural, but if the examiner misses the contraction, then they won't give you those grammar marks. So you just want to make that really clear. Okay, so yeah, I have taught math to my sister. I've tutored her several times over the past few years. Last time was about 2 months ago, because I'm really good at it. Okay, what's another way to say math or mathematics? It starts with an A. Arithmetic. Okay, it's another way to say it. I'll teach that too. So math. Another way to say math is arithmetic.
Okay.
Arithmetic. Okay, you should know that word going into computer science. Okay, and then you said she done very well. She did very well, not done. Or she had done, right? But she did is better here. Just past, simple past.
Okay.
So she did very well, not at her exam, but on her exam.
Okay.
And then she thanked me. You said she thanked a lot to me. Very awkward. Okay. So, and then she thanked me. So just keep it simple, especially when you're saying something so common, right? Okay, just repeat this after me. So, have you ever taught anyone? Yeah, I have taught math to my sister. I've tutored her several times over the past few years. Last time was about 2 months ago. Because I'm really good at it. She did very well on her exam, and then she thanked me. Have you ever taught anyone?
Yeah, I have taught math to my sister. I've tutored her several times over the past few years. Last time was about 2 months ago, because I'm really good at it. She did very well on her exam, and she thanked me.
Okay, now, the next question I asked you was a conditional. If you could teach any subject, what would it be? And then you just answered very directly. You said, I think it will be, of course, mathematics because I'm good at math. Be a little bit creative. I would probably have gone with a different answer. So something like, given the chance to train a person in any field, I would love to be a martial arts coach. Because it would be amazing to train the next UFC world champion. I would love to be a Kung Fu master. Okay, I'm just making it up, right? But what's important here is notice this part, given the chance. So given the chance is paraphrasing the if you could. Okay. When you get asked a conditional, make sure that you reflect the conditional in your answer. So don't, in everyday conversation, like on the street or with friends, we usually don't do that. You're right. So we usually just give the answer like, oh, I would love to be this. It's much faster and easier. But on the IELTS, it's good to show that grammar. So if you could teach any subject, what would it be? Given the chance to train a person in any field, I would love to be a martial arts coach because it would be amazing to train the next UFC world champion. I would love to be a Kung Fu master. Just repeat after me. If you could teach any subject, what would it be? Go ahead.
Given the chance to train a person in any field, I would love to be a martial arts coach because it would be amazing to train the next UFC world champion. I would love to be a Kung Fu master.
All right. Would you like to be a Kung Fu master? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all of us.
Yes.
I would totally be into that. Okay, Abdul Rashid, thank you so much for volunteering, and I think you're on the right path to get a great mark. Okay, so it's 6.5 right now, but a bit of practice, you'll do much better. All right. You're very welcome.
Next time.
Goodbye. I'll talk to you next time, Abdul Rashid. Bye for now.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thumbs up for Abdul Rashid. Yeah, we're only doing part 1 today, 1 a.m. We will be doing part 2 and part 3 later in the week as well. Let's take one more volunteer. Who should we take? Amira? Yeah, let's see if Amira is with us. Amira, I would like to voluntary. All right, Amira, are you ready? It's not voluntary, it's volunteer. Volunteer. Okay, so I would like to volunteer. Voluntary is a different word form, like voluntary action. Okay, Amira is ready. Hi, Amira.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. All right, Amira. And where are you right now in this big, beautiful world of ours?
I live in Palestine.
That's right. I remember now. Palestine. Okay. Amira, let's do this. So I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm still talking about teachers. Are you ready?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Sounds good. Okay. So who was your favorite teacher?
My favorite teacher was in high school, Fatima. She was teaching me physics. I really like her, and I like the way she teaching me and make it simple for me to understand that. So that inspired me as well to study physics in the first year of my university. Then I changed it for some reasons.
Have you ever taught anyone?
I'm a teacher, so I do teach biology, and I really enjoy it. And I think that's give me a good feeling because I'm giving children, students, and teach them how to understand their body.
If you could teach any subject, what would it be?
If I want to choose something else, I would choose for sure to teach English. Because it's international language. I think it's important for every child in in school, to learn this language and be able to speak it.
Okay, that was good. All right. Okay, overall very good. So that was a solid 7 to 7.5 range. Okay, so definitely a 7, I would say comfortably. A 7 to 7.5 because it's good English. So you're speaking fluently to me, and you're speaking with good English, and it's somewhere between good and very good potentially. There are a couple of slight oddities in your grammar or in your word choice. It does sound to me like a couple of times you get a little bit stuck for the perfect word in the context, which is fine. Read lots, so lots of reading will help you fill in those words that you're looking for in your mind. Okay. That's I think a good tip, and speak lots, what you're doing right now. Okay.
Yeah, I do speak a lot of native speakers of English.
Yeah, and really focus on a strong finish. So for me, it feels that your answers start strong, but then they get a little bit weaker near the end. You kind of get a little bit lost. Okay. So make sure that you finish.
It's just a lost ideas, actually. I don't know what to say.
Answer, explain, example. So when you're lost for an idea, think of an example. I had a biology class yesterday morning at 12 o'clock. Okay. So that works. So when you're lost, just finish with a strong example. So when I asked you, have you ever taught anyone? Careful with the grammar. It's present perfect. Okay. And
So
you
yeah, I
said,
would say I have.
Yeah,
have already.
you said I'm a teacher and I do teach biology. So you stuck with the present perfect there. I would right away have said I have been teaching biology to high school students for the past 3 years. Okay. So nice present perfect progressive. I have been teaching biology. Okay. And then if you're stuck at the end, you can say, in fact, I taught a class just yesterday from noon till 1.
Yeah.
Okay. So answer, explain, example. The example, that's one of the reasons it's really good to remember, is because it lets you finish strong. It lets you finish with emphasis, okay? So let's just practice this one, and then it'll firm up that idea, okay? So have you ever taught anyone? I'm a teacher, and I do teach biology. I have been teaching this subject in high school for the past 3 years, and I love it. It helps people to learn about their bodies and to live a healthier life. In fact, I taught a class yesterday from noon until 1. Have you ever taught anyone?
Yes, I'm a teacher. I've been teaching since 3 years, and I cannot see the screen. I'm sorry. In fact, I did a lesson today, teaching the students how to understand their body, and to help to live in a healthy environment.
Good. Okay. I have been teaching for 3 years, not since 3 years, for 3 years. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, and that's why you want to practice that present perfect, is so that you can use it accurately and confidently. Okay, so practice that advanced grammar. It's important. All right. Any questions, Amira?
No, thanks. But I want to ask a question about the listening.
Okay, shoot. Fire away. Ask me a question.
In the listening, I have like problems, especially with the section number 1. And like I get like got scored all the section, but section 1, I don't know, like just the spelling when they spelling the words, and the numbers, or it could be the like any numbers phone, like I don't know, like I don't do it fast. I need to do something about it, but I don't know how to do.
Yeah, really listen to phonetics. Focus on listening to dictation, okay? So people giving their credit card numbers, their phone numbers. If you have access to our website, there's this IELTS audio CDs. I'm just bringing it up on the screen here. And we actually have this bonus speaking at the end, where we purposefully go through with the British speaker like this.
Days of the month. First.
And also I have a problem with
Second.
the letters P and P, because I don't have it in my
Third.
language, so I miss it all
Fourth.
the time. Like
Fifth.
I know it's like a basic English.
It takes
but
practice.
I don't know how to improve.
Yeah, it takes practice, and different languages have different sounds. Like in Japanese, it's the RL sound, for example. That's very confusing. For some other languages, it's the THS sound that's confusing. So you just have to practice it lots. It will come with practice. And research a bit of phonetics and articulation online, how those sounds are articulated and the phonetics of those sounds. And then practice that, and that will help you to identify those sounds a little bit more accurately. Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
It'll come though. Don't like, it's not, even though it seems really frustrating sometimes, it will come. It will happen. Okay. So don't give up. All right. Just keep going. All right, Amira, thank you so much for volunteering. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your question.
I should thank you, actually.
And then you're very welcome. And
You
then
give me more confidence.
I'll see you again. You're doing great. I will see you again in class. Okay, Amira?
Yeah, have a nice day.
You too. Bye for now. All right, that was Amira. Give Amira a thumbs up. And we've completely run out of time, everybody. But worry not. I will be back tomorrow with writing task 2 For members, we'll do a whole essay in one class. Fun times ahead. And then we'll do a reading passage with everybody, reading strategies tomorrow, and more speaking on Saturday. Again, questions about the listening section or other parts of the exam, like with Amira, send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com, right up there. Visit our website for all of our lesson videos and for great practice, aehelp.com, gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. Use this code ULTIMATE9 for that 25% discount that's coming from our latest speaking interview video release. That's great. Okay. That's it for today's class, everyone. Thank you, Carolina, for moderating the chat, helping students out. I can see that you did a lot of great work there. That was awesome. Thank you, Rashika, Ken, and our members for your support. Thank you, Amrit and Engin, for your super chat donations. Have a lovely rest of your Thursday. Everybody have a great start to your Friday tomorrow, and hopefully I will see you then. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from Victoria for now. Bye, everyone.